Welcome back, everybody. So my next movie review for you is Hereditary. But once again, if you enjoy watching my reviews, if you could please like, share, and subscribe, that would be very, very much appreciated. So, Hereditary was released on June the 8th, 2018. Its director was Ari Aster. It was made on a budget of 10 million US dollars and made 80.2 million US dollars in the box office. The cast in this movie consists of Toni Collette, Alex Wolff, Gabriel Byrne, Millie Chaparro, something along those lines, Annie Downs, plus many, many others. So in this Hereditary movie, we follow the Graham family after the death of the grandmother, and we get to experience their pain, their trauma, all the kind of hurt that's come with this family death. In this movie, we do find out that this family is, in its past, had a very, very traumatic kind of past, which they do kind of explain quite a lot, but it isn't long before some very supernatural things start to happen. So, Hereditary, I found out about this movie. I've known about this movie since its release. I just only watched this morning. And the reason I only just watched this is that a few people at work have watched it and they went, you must watch this. It's actually really, really good. So I thought, okay, I'll wait. I mean, I knew about this movie. Well, I was going to watch this movie about a week ago, and then this morning I finally watched it. So what do I honestly think about this movie? Let's find out now. Hereditary movie review. What do I honestly think? Yep, I think it's absolutely fantastic, and I think this movie is actually beautifully crafted. It was a very, very enjoyable 2 hours, 7 minutes. Okay, even though this movie is a very dark movie, and it does cover some very dark subjects, I still found myself very entertained at the end of this movie. I also found myself at a couple of points saying out loud while I'm on my own in my room, oh, that's very good. And I literally said that a few times. I went, very good. That is how much certain parts of this movie, I believe, are very, very well executed. And I really enjoy the feel. Right from the get-go, there is a very, very creepy vibe, which you get throughout the whole of this movie. In the beginning of this movie, because of this creepy vibe, you're expecting something to happen, but nothing actually happens. And I think this is the whole beauty of this movie. Throughout the whole of this movie, there is a ever-rising tension or evil starting to brew, and there's a certain point where there is a breaking point, and when the breaking point happens, I think everything else in this movie is just brilliant in every single way. Performances in this movie I absolutely love to bits. Toni Collette's character Annie in here is absolutely fantastic. You're following her after the death of her mother, knowing that throughout this movie you get a backstory to this family that is steeped in trauma. You see each one of the family members deal with this trauma in their own ways, whether it's the father, who's the level-headed person who's just trying just to get by. You have the son, who is trying to deal with this in his own way, or trying to run away from this, as in, this didn't actually happen, I'm going to just do this instead. I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, and it's his own unique way of dealing with this, whether it's even the daughter, her way of doing or dealing with this, which I have to be honest with you, is a little bit messed up, I have to admit, but this movie has that kind of sense and feel. There is some very weird and strange moments within this movie, which I think are just so well done. Okay, I was actually creeped out, and it does take a lot for me to get scared while watching a horror movie, but there were certain points in this movie and I was just like going, okay, you got me, eh? You actually generally have got me. And I think they executed all these kind of certain elements very, very well. Now, if you take away the supernatural element of this and just follow a family that has just suffered a trauma like this and how they have to deal with it, I think it's still an absolutely superb movie. But once the supernatural element starts to appear in this movie, I think it really starts to really gather some momentum, which makes this even more enjoyable. And there are certain things at the end, or for the last 3/4 an hour of this movie, which I think are very, very well done, to a point where there is something supernatural here that is using everybody to invoke his will or to try and trick people, which I think is absolutely brilliant. There is a, if you've seen this movie, there is an absolutely brilliant scene to do with a book and a fire and the mother and the father. Now, I'm not going to say anything else on that, but if you've seen that, the way they executed that, I was just like that, okay, that's pretty damn good. And I actually said that out loud to myself. I went, yep, brilliant, pretty damn good. And this is why I enjoy this movie so much. It's because it is, yes, it is a very dark tone kind of movie. There is a creepy vibe throughout the whole of this movie, but there are certain points where you have to give credit to what they did, the movie making in here, or the storytelling in this movie. I'm just like that, going, yep, I'm on board. And this is what made it such an enjoyable watch, whether it's performances, the way that this was shot. There's some absolutely fantastic camera work in this as well. There are certain things going on in the background in certain scenes which I have noticed, and I'm sure I'll notice even more when I rewatch this, which I will be. And I just think they've done everything brilliantly. And I really, even to now, knowing I only watched this about an hour ago, and trying to prepare of what I was going to say in this movie review was very, very difficult, because there's one slight thing can actually give away quite a fair bit of this movie, in my personal opinion, and I do not want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it. But if I was to give this a rating, it would be simply a 10 out of 10. I think it's an absolutely superb watch. I think it's very, very well done. There's a lot of thought gone into this movie. I love the colouring, I love the camera work in here. When the supernatural element starts to really take off, there are certain things that happen in here and you just go, wow. And there are some wow moments, and there's things still going around in my head, or things that I remember. Even there's a certain point in there where I did actually jump as well, but I really just enjoyed how they told the story, the way they showed it to you, the way you get a creep factor right from the start of this movie. Just made it so enjoyable for me. So, on that note, please tell me what you think. Put it in the comments down below as normal. Hope you all have a great rest of the day, whatever you're doing. Please take care, and goodbye.